Hey guys, Ben the Demon here. Got a bunch of Saturn games in front of you. What these Saturn games have in common is they're all Sega Saturn fighting games. Still a lot I want to get. I've been deciding what couple videos I'm going to do. I'm getting ready to move and pack everything up. So there's probably going to be a good chunk where I'm not doing videos, but I don't think that will be a problem. I have certain items and I'm filming a bunch of these right now, so I don't have any real lack of videos or content. But that's what I'm doing, real busy. Hopefully I can get some update videos after I get the new game room. It's a 3-bedroom, so there's plenty of room for a game room and an office. And I'm going to do some of the requested ones. I've had my 2D shoot 'em up collection requested many times, my Sega Saturn fighting collection many times, my Dreamcast collection in a whole many times. And any requests, please do them within the next 72 hours of this date, because I'm getting ready to pack everything up. And if you had a request you want to see, like my 7800 collection or something, just let me know and I'll do my best. This is my Sega Saturn fighting collection, no rhyme or reason, and I hope I didn't leave any out. There are a few I'll mention after the video that are next on my list. I just plan on collecting and gaming for Saturn for a long time. I've had it since it came out. I love the system, so I'm kind of pacing myself on the games. I play them until I get kind of bored and then buy a new one just like it's the heyday. Alright, let's get into this. Sorry about the wiggle. Battle Arena to Shinden Remix. Pretty fun game. I don't like it as much as the sequel, but I'll show you guys that here in a minute. This is pretty good. Has some exclusive stuff to the Sega Saturn. And just a 3D fighting game. The first two were released on the Saturn, and the rest were kind of like PlayStation exclusives, I do believe. There you go. Alright, one of my favorite fighting games on the Sega Saturn, Sega Saturn, Fighters Mega Mix. This game is so cool. It's Virtua Fighter and the Fighting Vipers together, plus a lot of crazy other Rent-A-Hero characters, you know, just Virtua Cop characters, Sega characters. It's really fun, and has a bunch of combos from Virtua Fighter 3. So closest thing to Virtua Fighter 3 we got for the Saturn. Next up is the Fighting Vipers. I think this is a totally underrated series. I really wish they'd bring it back, but, you know, what can you do? Really good 3D fighting game, AM2, kind of like Virtua Fighter with weapons. Street Fighter the movie. Some people hate it, some people like it, some people are undecided. I like it. It's like Mortal Kombat meets Street Fighter, if that makes sense. Mortal Kombat style animation where it's actually actors in there, and kind of, you know, still the Capcom style gameplay. A lot of people don't like the digitized graphics in this movie. I do, and or the game I should say of the movie. If you're a hardcore Street Fighter fan or you just like fighting games a lot, check it out, but it's not for everybody. Good news on that front, it can be found for wicked cheap. $5 shipped to your door complete. Resurrection Rise 2, a fighting game that had so much hype, the first one. So much hype, supposed to be the hardest fighting game in the world at the time, and I remember, you know, just being so bummed out when I got that home and the AI was not as challenging as everybody had claimed up until the release of it. And this is the follow-up, Rise 2, Resurrection Rise 2 for the Sega Saturn. Next we have X-Men, Children of the Atom, kind of the first Versus game. I know, no verses in it, but this is the kind of the game that started them all. Really good, has the X-Men animated series that was around at the time, voice acting, straight up just like Street Fighter with X-Men characters, and it's a really fun one. This next one is kind of a hidden gem. I like it a lot of people I don't think like it. Very digitized graphics again, but it's Battle Monsters, and I think this game's really fun. I think it's definitely worth checking out. Alright, this one's exciting. A case. This is actually the case to Mortal Kombat trilogy, and it's in a little small case that I use sometimes when it's in the front room. So here's the back case. I'm missing the book. Virtua Fighter 2, really cool game. Probably one of my favorite Virtua Fighters in the series. Birth of 3D fighting. AM2 laid it down. Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3. Super cool game. I'm glad to have it in the collection. Thank you, Longboy. Sorry, guys, about that. Really good game. It's basically 2D Mortal Kombat, the ultimate version of 3, so it has Scorpion and Sub-Zero and all the cult characters that weren't in the first version of 3, so that's cool. Street Fighter Alpha 2. Really fun fighting game. The Alpha series, I'm sure you guys are aware of it. It's Street Fighter. How can you go wrong? Really good condition. This game is awful. If you want to play the first Virtua Fighter, get it for the 32X or the remix for the Sega Saturn. The remix is pretty good, and I actually have that and I forgot to grab it. It's in a different case. Shoot, guys. Get the remix though. It's a lot better than the Virtua Fighter that they launched with it. Vampire Hunter. This is the Darkstalker series. Really cool game. 2D fighting games by Capcom. Worth checking out. In the same series, we got Vampire Savior, still the Darkstalkers, another really fun game. It's not sealed, it's just in a dust bag, and you know, these are just, I can't say enough good things. It's all these classic monsters and horror characters in a fighting game. I mean, what more can you ask for? Sorry about the lighting in here. Here's Mortal Kombat in the rental case that it came in. Trilogy. I'm not saying that that's why it was just the case earlier. King of Fighters 97, one of my favorite King of Fighters games. Love this one a lot. If you haven't played King of Fighters, it's a great series. Kind of the first fighting game that really gives Street Fighter a run for his money, if you ask me, back in the day in the arcades. But King of Fighters you can't go wrong with. Wicked fun, X-Men vs. Street Fighter. I like this game more than Marvel vs. Capcom 1, as far as the Dreamcast port. I don't know, I have a lot of nostalgia attached to the arcade, Marvel vs. Capcom 1, because I used to play it all the time in the arcade. But X-Men vs. Street Fighter, I definitely love on the Saturn. Really good game. Alright, King of Fighters 96. Another just really good King of Fighters games. King of Fighter games are like Madden. Every year they come out with a new one, or they used to, and they would just add more improvements. You know, a quest to become the ultimate fighting game series. And I love the King of Fighters games, and this is no exception. 96 is a really good sequel. Alright, this one has a little crack in every place. This is Fighter History Dynamite Sunsoft. Really fun game if you can look past that it's a major Street Fighter clone. Some of the characters, like even their names sound like Street Fighter. But that aside, and if you just take it for what it is, that Street Fighter was the hottest fighting game in the world, and some consider it to still be the hottest fighting game in the world. People wanted to cash in on that success, and when there's a hot game, that's what happens. You get a lot of similar games that are in that type of genre. Think about how many first-person shooters that are trying to imitate what Call of Duty and the other greats. I'm not a huge first-person shooter buff, but you know what I'm saying. So Street Fighter was the shit back in the early 90s, and every company wanted to get their piece of that pie. Fighter's History Dynamite is no different, but it's a really good clone, in my opinion. Here we are. This is Fatal Fury Special, the special edition with the 2 discs in it. It's the best collection. And it has the final battle. Geese Howard must go or die. Can't remember what it said. And this one's complete. Sorry about that, guys. And then this one's probably my favorite Fatal Fury game. It's Robot Special. I want Fatal Fury 3 for the Sega Saturn. That's a really good one too. I like this game. There's also a US one. This is Outlaws of the Lost Dynasty. Sorry about that. I had to think for a second on the Japanese games. But this is a really cool 2D fighting game. A lot of people say this is the Street Fighter ripoff, but if you played the Fighter's History Dynamite, that one's more. Same people as far as publishers, so, you know, it kind of makes sense. And I think there's a version of this game, I'm not sure if it's the arcade version or which version that you could unlock, or I heard somewhere through the grapevine somewhere that you could play Fighter History Dynamite characters on this game. Maybe I just live and breathe video games and I get my facts mixed up sometimes. Alright, here's the Battle Arena Toshinden URA Ultimate Revenge Attack. Really good game. I like this one a lot more than Remix. Play it all the time. Just love it. Next up, Mortal Kombat 2. Probably my favorite version of Mortal Kombat 2 next to the 32X version because no loading times on the 32X version. But man, this is as good as it gets, especially back in the day. Today you can get the HD. I have it for the PS3 and I still like this one better. Alright, Pocket Fighter. This game's pretty fun, really simple. It took me a minute to get used to it because fighting buff, you know, and the moves are just, they're there, but they're really simplified. Simplified. I don't know why I'm so exhausted, guys. I'm sorry I'm messing this up. Simplified. But it's still fun. It's, you know, cutesy-ootsy and everything, but I think it's well worth at least $15, or maybe if you can get it less, great. But, you know, if you got $15, you could probably acquire it, and it's definitely worth that. Alright, Virtua Fighter Kids. And what I understand, kids isn't like they're kids, because you see on this horrible print, but they still have all their adult features. So, it's Virtua Fighter. You can pick it, kids mode, which is a different mode, maybe easier, and then you got your normal mode, which I always go to normal. And it's kind of weird. I mean, seeing them kind of come off with kids with the big heads and the giant eyes and the mustaches and the beards. A little disturbing, but still an excellent title. I like every Virtua Fighter, my favorite fighting game franchise as far as 3D fighters. I like Tekken too. Let's see. Criticom? I don't know, this is love-hate on this one. I bought this fighting game because this is like, I feel this is my least favorite fighting game of all time, and I like to show people it, and I'm determined to become a badass at this game, but I don't really care for it, and it's just one of those ones you don't like it, but you keep it around, and you want to like it, but you don't. I don't know. I like fighting games. This is one I keep to show my friends that, you know, when they say, hey, why are you playing this old game? It sucks. Well, let me grab a game that is far worse, and it usually makes whatever game we were playing in the first place look a million times better. There are a couple other ones I'm missing out. The Virtua Fighter remix. I also want to get a couple more imports, actually a lot more imports. But as you can see, the Sega Saturn is excellent for 2D fighting games. I'm going to try to get some more collections going. Sorry about the overall lighting quality of this video, guys. I don't know, it's been a hectic, screwy week, but I know you guys will understand. Alright, until the next video, guys.